All right. Yo, what's going down, cultivators? It's Steven here, dropping in with another community organizer before they make it big. You mind telling everybody about yourself?
Hi, so I'm Melissa Thompson, so one of the many partners in Uncut Enterprise. And so we're a group of private businesses, entrepreneurs, and community shakers that really want to deliver a holistic view to the family and make impact. So that's who I am, just the person that's speaking up for everybody.
Awesome. So tell me, how did you guys get your start with this brand, with this movement?
Well, I think, ultimately we all started because we were born Black. And that's just the truth of it. So you really have no choice but at some point to start being more active if you want something different for your children. And so at that point, that's where we are. We've lived our lives. We've done the fun stuff. We've done the serious stuff and the discovery things. And now it's to the point now, what are we doing to change how things will be for, our family moving forward?
And so what are some of those values and ethics that you live by?
So definitely family, right? I do believe that you have to have peace, and that supersedes many things because that's where your health and everything lies, right? In your peace and being able to control your mindset. The other thing, community. So one of the things we really need to do is restore community. And the idea with Uncut Enterprise is that we can get thousands of local businesses to support the initiative, to support the community, to help breathe life back into one another's business instead of these super large businesses, corporations that don't need our money, right? And so that our communities can thrive. And then so our children, they begin to see, oh, there is hope. There is change happening and things we can take hold of.
Yeah, I love that, especially because a lot of people, they don't realize that having a community to work with you instead of against you, it's different. It's so different. You can't even put it into words. We talk about it a lot here, especially. As soon as you say community, I was like, oh yeah.
I mean,
you're on the same wave.
So think about it. You think about other ethnic groups that come from out of the country and they come here and they find their community and they work together and they build multi-million-dollar businesses in a matter of years where most people in the United States won't do that in their lifetime. So, but it's because of the lack of community, because they come from countries where you still go to your neighbor for things or you still rely on the person down the street just to be a good person and tell you if somebody went in your house and took something, opposed to, here where you are scared to knock on your neighbor's door because you don't know if they're going to get mad and shoot you,
And so how does Uncut separate themselves from other people that do the same type of work?
Well, the way we separate ourselves is because we're not going to be separate. We plan on partnering with all the separate organizations. It's not about being one entity that takes over everything. It's about let's holding hands. And so now it's unity, right? It's full support throughout the community. It's not about being better than somebody. It's about being better together. And we can just go a lot further if we all just agree that we have the same mission, right? We just want an equitable future for our Black family.
So can you share an experience that a customer has had that really embodies what you guys are about?
Well, so there are a lot of experiences. I work with a lot of moms. One of the things that I tell moms that they find most valuable is really picking your fights. And when I say that, when you're a mom, you want to control a lot of things that your kids do. And we forget that really our role is just to love, support, and nurture the greatness and not create and design. That's not our job. And when we let go of that, what we find is that there's so much more freedom and joy in the relationship we have with our children. They're able to flourish, and we don't have all this, just another version of me popping up with a little less dysfunction, right? Yeah. And so that's one of the things most moms have said they realized that they didn't know they were doing, is that they wanted their child to just basically be a better version of them, but instead of just being who they were designed to be.
That's real. I mean, I never really thought of it that way. I know, my parents were always like, no, I want you to be the best version of yourself. But it also was like, I think it's normal for kids to take aspects of what they do and don't like from their parents, apply it to themselves, and plus everything else they learn in the real world. It's kind of come the most authentic version of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's real.
Yeah. A lot of times it takes a lot of discovery, right? To really get to where you decide who you are. Because you take all that shaping from your childhood and from what you think you want to be when you're a kid because, you tell your parents you want to be a doctor at 8. Now you're going to be a doctor. And they're pushing for that all the way through, until you go to college and you realize you don't want to do it, and boom. And you waste 20 years discovering. So,
yeah. So has there been any challenges you guys have faced along the way that have really been able to just, Yeah. Has there been any challenges you guys have faced along the way? And if so, has there been any ways you can shape it to a victory?
Well, I think there's challenges in every day. And there's the thing about challenges is really not so much as what is the challenge that we're facing. It's what are we going to do with the challenge we're facing? And for us, we face a lot of challenges. We still have young children at home. At one point, we had 7 kids at home and 1 income. My husband was away at war and I was at home, a single parent, so there were times that we really had to just navigate life without a plan. But one of the biggest things I can say that we have done since is just having plans in place for the things that are going to happen in life. And one of the things that our community is not taught to do is to plan for the things that are going to happen. Like, you're going to get older, right? Your kids are going to grow up. They're going to want to drive. These are all things that you don't plan for. And then when they come up, you act as if they caught you off guard. You're surprised. You've lived 55 years. Why are you surprised you're feeling old now? It was coming. Like, you keep getting older. So it's just those things. It's like planning for the things that are going to happen so they don't become inconvenience and unnecessary challenges. So then when the unexpected challenges come, then you can spend the energy on that instead of stuff you didn't have to.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, just staying prepared. I think, everyone kind of knows what their child's going to go through from like their first 18 years of life. So it's like, how can I kind of articulate it and have it so you have strong structure for when you are going through it?
Mm-hmm.
So that's real.
And then what are the support plans, right? Because if you plan what your response is going to be before something happens. So like if you plan your response before the house catches on fire and you practice this over and over again, like you do the fire drill at school, then when the house catches on fire, your natural response is to do what you've practiced. But if you don't practice anything, then what's your response?
Yeah, that's true. So do you have any future plans that, you guys are really excited to be launching? Or?
So we plan on going and partnering with the different school districts, especially the underserved school districts, and creating family programs that will help kind of bridge that gap between the school system, the parents, and the child. So making a more fluid relationship so it's coming inside and outside.
I like that a lot. That's dope, especially because I feel like there's not enough being taught in the school districts or just in school in general about what life is really going to, put in your way.
You don't know what it's like when you get out there to live it, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, go, because it is a game.
Yeah.
Right. And you don't know the cheat code. But however, the person that's been playing 20 years before you do, that's the importance of community. So now you don't have to spend 20 years learning what I took 20 years learning, because I could teach you in a couple of months. And so that's the advantage of really building a strong community. That's the foundation of where we're pushing our people from. So then we can grow, right? And exchange knowledge.
Yeah. And so what's the culture like in your team right now?
So our culture is we're all givers. We believe, we're very passionate, and whatever we're going to do, right? So if we're going all in on community, we're all in on community. When we used to party, we were all in on party, Mm-hmm. And so I just tell people, my whole thing is whatever you're going to do, just give it your all, right? Because it just makes the most sense to do that, to see what happens. So then if it doesn't work out, then you don't know it wasn't for lack of trying.
Yeah.
And so for us, our culture is just making sure that whatever we do aligns with our values. We check it all. It aligns with the mission of making sure that not one family is good, but that all families are good. And so if it doesn't, then we don't do it.
Yeah, I like that. So do you have any stories of like how a customer's vibes really reshaped your brand or?
I think one of the things that has really shaped us over the years has been just the different experiences. And one of the things that I often tell people that you realize a lot of adults lack is comprehension.
Yeah.
And so when you go out and because I'm a community organizer and I'm organized in a lot of different states. And when you do that, you meet people that are 18 that are getting into organizing and then people that are 75 getting into organizing. And you think a person has a certain level of comprehension and they don't. So what you have to understand is that it's not about just one design that's going to work for everybody. It's about what design works for this set of bodies and that set of bodies, and then putting that into play. And so for me, one of the things that people have often said is that I took time to understand how they needed to learn so they could learn. Because then I can teach you.
Yeah.
But if I don't know how you learn, how can I teach you?
That's true.
Or if you're able to learn,
I think everyone's definitely able to learn. It's just a matter of finding like what cognitive way they learn the best. Like I know me, it's very like handheld, visual approach, like doing it actively, asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I don't retain the information as well.
A lot of people are hands-on because a lot of people, they may not be able to read a book, but you could show them, you could teach them how to do this. Yeah. Like my grandfather, he couldn't read. He didn't even know his ABCs, but he worked in a factory, for 40 something years.
Damn.
Yeah. So, I mean, you think like skills can be taught. And that's the thing that, we forget in this country too. We want people to spend money on degrees and things that like Life University will teach you so much more than a degree will.
Yeah.
And I need somebody who's lived an experience to tell me how to unlive an experience that I'm in.
It's real. And so do you have any landmark moments in the journey that have really had you just celebrating a victory?
Let's see. Celebrating a victory. Well, I mean, there are tons of victories, but I think the biggest victory would be we're probably at the half mark of our children because we have 10 children total. So, yeah, so we are now down to the last 4. So, so we're 60% done. So that I think that is one of my big accomplishments.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
That's the future too. So it's the now and the future.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
congrats on that. That's awesome, by the way.
Thank you. No, we love our kids.
Yeah. And so do you have any advice for anybody that's trying to join this community that you're building?
Yes, definitely reach out. We want it's not about what you have or if you have, because everybody has something they can contribute, even if it's just an idea that somebody else is going to bring to fruition. But we want those that care about what tomorrow looks like 30 years from now to be at the table. And especially people of color. Like we need to get together and we need to start to work together and understand that the time of being divided is over.
Seriously.
Like if we don't get together, then there's nothing.
Over. Yeah.
The future for our children is over. And they didn't ask to come here. I mean, spiritually, we could argue that, but,
That's real. Very deep.
Consciously.
Yeah. So what's your big dream on the world? How do you want to leave your mark by the time you're done?
So my mark would be that every child have access to equitable education and be able to seek their dream with or without resources and explore that. Because if we all got to seek the dreams we truly have, then how much greater would this world be? And how many more things, like where would we be? We'd probably already be past Mars, I'm sure, if we all just got to
work together,
be who we came to be and use our own design. So I believe creativity is supposed to be free.
It's a catalyst to everything.
And that music is magical and it heals. And so between the two, the world can be better. We need to support people.
So where can everybody at home find you?
So we are at uncutenterprise.com, as well as on Facebook. So just started a Facebook page, hadn't been on social media in years. Because just, wasn't my thing anymore. And so, but hey, it was like, let's get this Facebook page going because we also launched a movement, Brown Mamas for Brown Youth. So getting mothers of all brown skins to get together and understand that we need to organize our voices for our youth. And so just thinking about educating our people on laws and things like that. And because I talked to several people and I asked, how many laws did Texas pass last year?
I don't pay attention to politics.
Yeah, but we need to know the laws, right? And it's 774. And so new laws, right? And I haven't even read them all. I've only probably read about 350 of them. So, yeah. So, I mean, but think about that every year. And then like what laws are being changed. Like you got to know your rights. Like I was looking at this show yesterday about weird arrests and the grandmother got arrested in Alabama for their trash bill. You know, like in certain states, the laws are so strict, you'll go to jail behind just anything. You'll become a criminal behind anything, you know? And you got to know these rights and we don't know them. So that's another thing, just awareness.
That makes me think now.
I don't know.
But, well, cultivators, it's been great catching up with Melissa. And thank you guys for tuning in. Gonna catch you in the next one. Peace.